systems, the heart, liver, kidneys, joints, reproductive system. Obesity leads to a range of other diseases like type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, strokes, even cancer. You see, obesity is a complex problem and it affects more than 1 billion people the world over, across cultures, genders and age groups. 650 million adults are obese. So are 340 million adolescents and 39 million children, and the numbers keep increasing. Long story short, we are struggling with a global obesity crisis. But there's another crisis that comes with it, a quandary of belief. You see, science has seen huge advances. Despite this, we do not know why some people cannot seem to lose weight, even when they try desperately. It's confusing and frustrating. So we jump to conclusions. We often point to the lack of willpower. Obesity is a disease of the body, but many see it as a disease of the mind, either a consequence of psychological problems or a result of a weak mental state. This belief exists among laypersons just as it does with some health professionals. But there is no credible scientific evidence to prove it. Maybe this belief persists because mental illness is more common in obese people. In fact, it is a fact, mental health and obesity are closely linked, but a person's mental state does not cause them to become obese. It is the other way around. Studies say obesity reduces blood flow to the brain. It increases risk of mental health problems like anxiety, depression, and Alzheimer's. So obesity hurts the brain. But it's not a psychological problem. Yet it is fueled by prejudice and underpinned by myth. So blaming obese individuals or denying them medical care is doing no good. Until this dogma persists, obesity cannot be tackled. So how can we fix this? How much can medical science help and what role can society play? Earlier this week, I had a conversation with India's top bariatric surgeon, Dr. Mufazzal Lakrawala. Here is a snippet of that conversation. Hello and welcome to this very special conversation on First Post, where we'll try and talk about issues that touch you directly. Before I introduce our guest here, I want to share two data sets with you. Number one, at least 65 million individuals worldwide are said to be suffering from long COVID. The actual numbers may be higher because of undocumented cases. And number two, by 2035, more than half of the world's population will be obese. This is according to the World Obesity Foundation. So how do we identify and address these challenges, and how are these challenges impacting our lives without us acknowledging them? That's what we'll discuss, that and more. With me is Dr. Mufazzal Lakrawala, India's foremost laparoscopic surgeon, someone who specializes in bariatric surgery, and he has helped thousands of patients from across the world overcome debilitating conditions to get a new shot at life. Dr. Lakrawala, or should I say Dr. Mufi, welcome to First Post.
Thank you, Palki, and thank you for inviting me here. Actually, like your start very clearly said, we are facing two pandemics. One is of a communicable kind, which was the COVID-19 pandemic, which kind of made up and sit up and take notice of our health. And the other one was a non-communicable disease burden, which the whole world recognizes today. Things like diabetes, hypertension, various other dyslipidemia or cholesterol, whatever you want to call it in lay people's terms, is the non-communicable disease burden, which is actually affecting our lives. And the fact that both these kind of merge at some point financially, I read a recent report that said that $43.2 billion worth of expenditure might go into treating obesity and obesity-related illnesses by 2035. So it's almost close to the 2020 numbers of COVID and the amount of money the world spread. Yes, we are sitting on two time bombs. One we've probably overcome with the vaccination and everything. The other one, which is going to grow at such a speed, so we need to do something about it. I think it's a elephant in the room that a lot of us have ignored for too long. And why would I call it a disease? You know, I said disease. Most people don't recognize it.
I was going to ask you that's not how we see it. We see it as some sort of a lifestyle issue, the way we eat, sleep, conduct ourselves. Maybe that's what. But so, do we have a very skewed notion then of obesity?
Yeah, because how do you define disease, right? WHO's definition of disease is anything that produces a problem, anything that affects your functionality in the long term and decreases your lifespan. Obesity, tick off. And most importantly, we also do know that any disease, any process which causes other disease to grow along with it is again obesity. It does come with this harbinger of bringing comorbidities. We call it diabetes, we call it sleep apnea, we call it infertility. There are so many cancers which are linked to obesity. So why don't we recognize it as a disease? The world started recognizing, some of the developed countries have started recognizing it. I think for socio-political reasons, some of the underdeveloping countries or the developing countries are still not recognizing obesity as a disease.
You deal with people who are seeking weight loss all the time, and not all cases need medical intervention. But when you talk to them, what is your impression? How many of these people come to you because they need medical support, and how many are those who are just looking at the last resort of sorts because they can't deal with the shame or the stigma attached to it?
Stigma is one big problem that society deals with and subjects people with obesity. And, you know, as world associations, as individuals who treat obesity, our biggest problem is not treating the medical conditions of obesity, treating the mental health and the stigma associated with obesity. You could be anybody, right? You could be the most powerful man in the world. You could be the most richest man in the world. You could be the poorest of the poor. Stigma will not leave you if you're done with obesity. It's like how we are brought up, right? If someone with a weight problem were to be picking up a plate at a wedding reception, and probably that person is going to eat the least amount because he's cognitive of the fact that there are all the eyes on him, and actually that guy feels like a culprit. What am I doing here? He feels so socially uncomfortable being there. And that is what, as society, as families, we need to understand that. Please treat the health problems, but don't stigmatize a person just for being heavier than normal.
I never sort of articulated it in my head or otherwise in this way, the way you've put it, that, you know, what may be going into the mind of somebody who knows that they're being watched and they're being sort of punished for no fault of theirs. And even those who lose weight, I think it's not a linear process. People lose and then in a lot of cases gain it again. How often in your experience does that happen, and how does it play on the mind of that person then?
The obese kids are not to be blamed at all. It's not their fault that they are heavy. And that's where, as society, we must understand that they are the ones who try the hardest. They keep blaming themselves for not fitting into the correct mold, that we call it, that fits into societal norms of being healthy. No, obese people are the most malnourished or the most unhealthy people.
So you're saying that people who have a weight problem or who are big and trying to lose weight are actually malnourished?
They are. Actually, the most obese people are the most malnourished of all individuals.
So is there no solution then? And then what do you tell these patients of yours who have been swinging between very high weight and then coming down and then gaining it again? And are there any specific cases that sort of spring to mind?
It's not a T20 match. It's a full-blown test match. You'll have to maintain that consistency for the rest of your life, right? We always do it for a reason, a season, but never for a lifetime. And that's the big problem with diet. For example, I'll tell you, it becomes even more difficult the more famous you are, because society trolls you, stigmatizes you because you're always in the limelight. For example, an actor or a politician, or even, for example, someone who's rich and famous is always in the media spotlight. We can always, as surgeons, hide ourselves behind the mask. Nobody knows. But it's more difficult for these people because every time they come out, they are under the media glare. They are trolled for no fault of theirs. For example, I'll tell you, I operated on Mr. Gadkari and Mr. Venkaiah Naidu because both have come out and said that they've had surgery. And both of them got surgery done because with diabetes and with sleep apnea, it was really affecting their political careers. And we've seen one went on to become the vice president, one has done so well as the transport minister. And they've done really well. They're much older, they did. And another person I can speak about because he is someone who's, I think, fought across this battle through time and again, right? Kid to one of the richest people in Asia, Anant. He's tried very hard, right? From his young days, I know this, Anant Ambani, yeah. Anant Ambani was one guy who everyone is vilified. Every time he's lost weight, poor guy, everyone says, oh, he's had taken the simple solution. He's gone and got this surgery done. Yeah, I know. Some people have even claimed that I know who's operated on him. I've been told so many times, have you operated on him?
It's very interesting, because you rightly say that this is talked about a lot in the media, and most people just have an outsider's view of what's going on and are quick to pass comments and judge. That's how people are. And I guess it can be more difficult for people in the spotlight, because if you lose it, then you must have taken the easy way out. And if you don't lose it, then you're just not showing the kind of commitment that is required to first fix yourself before doing something else. So I guess the pressure can be that much more.
And the poor guy's had quite a struggle, right? Struggle to be in the spotlight. Every time he sat on an IPL bench, people have sniggered and laughed at him. And that's really not fair. I mean, how do we know what he's tried or not tried? None of us know. Now I know him as a person, and I know what all he goes through on a day-to-day basis and what all he tries. For example, he lost a lot of weight, and that became news, right? Public news. And everyone said, wow, superb. He almost lost close to, from I think 217 or 20 when he was there. He came down to 79 kilos before Isha and Akash's wedding. And the whole world was talking about it, because he was a famous guy and he just did it with diet and exercise. Somehow back again, he went up that's steep curve, and then he again tried the same thing. It didn't work again. So it was not that he was very lazy suddenly, or he had started eating a lot of sugar, or he had stopped doing all the things that he had done correctly the first time around. And then he's had a lung issue, right? Since the age of 2. He's tried hell of a lot to try and get rid of it, because of who he is. He's seen world experts and everybody. And I do remember, because I was part of one of those meetings, and some of the best experts in the space of obesity across the world have told him, you are a miracle. You've done brilliantly. And if these papers were put up in front of us, we would have never believed that you've actually lost this kind of weight with just diet and exercise. But he had made up his mind at that point of time to lose. Unfortunately, it's not only a mind issue. Now, when he's trying really hard, it's still a body issue. He will not necessarily lose the same kind of weight. Again, in the middle, he was contemplating whether to get surgery done or not. There are, to the media, I cannot speak about all the various diseases that come along with this thing, but I do know that he's one guy who's so positive. Every time I've spoken to him about it, and I do know that poor guy's been trolled for something or the other. And most people will be thinking, oh, he's a rich man's kid, so he must be eating a lot, or he must be just partying all the time and all. No, the guy, I do know that I had put him on a program, and the guy was in the pool for 2 hours every single day, right? He would be on green juice, for example. He would have less than 500 calories, because we thought that his body would lose that weight. So,
2022 was when the latest set of obesity drugs were introduced in the market. 2023, we saw the market boom. Like on First Post in my show, we've done a lot of stories on how big these companies have become, some of them bigger than luxury brands now. 2024 is being tipped as the weight loss year of the weight loss drugs. Do you think that is the new normal? And we've not seen any harmful side effects, or at least I don't know of them. So would you say that medical science has finally cracked it?
No. Obesity is too complex a problem. It's too lifelong a problem. It's too chronic a disease, like I had called it earlier. So please don't fool yourself by saying this is the be-all and end-all. Yes, it's a key by which we've managed to open the door.
And it's not accessible as of today. I mean, if you look at your Ozempics and all, I think $1,000 per month is the average.
Not for the common man.
Yes. So with more pharma players now entering this, and with the way this is, I mean, there's a thriving black market. Do you think that this is going to be then the new normal, and we will have more accessible options going forward? In India, I believe the weight loss market is close to 2 lakh crore rupees. It's booming.
World over, you can imagine the kind of money that is being put into these kind of drugs. Yes, there are lots of drugs in pipeline today. There are single drugs like the Ozempics and the Mounjaros of the world. And then there are the other combination drugs which give you a good weight loss. What we do need to understand is that 20% or around there is good enough total body weight loss for getting rid of medical problems. Rest is all cosmetic. So quite often, everything is put under the same bouquet. Yeah. right? From liposuctions to plastic surgery to bariatric surgery to Ayurveda to Unani to uh, motivational speakers who kind of make you lose that. No, it is, you can't put everything under one bracket. You need to dissect. There's not one size that fits all. Everyone will need a different solution. For example, because I had mentioned, and he's done brilliantly again. He's lost hell of a lot of weight and he's not had surgery. So I can say this on camera. He's not had surgery. He's working very, very hard. Probably has a goal to look forward to, maybe his upcoming wedding, and he's looking really charged. He's right up there mentally to try and fight this. It's always going to be an uphill task, right? So he's always going to fight against the odds because his body, God has ordained with him. So God doesn't give us everything.
Final list in all likelihood will be released.
We'll come back to you then when those details come out. For the moment though, Sharon, thank you so much for getting us the latest. After days of speculation, Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav confirmed that the alliance with the Congress, there's all is well ahead of the 2024 elections. There's absolutely no issues. Ant bhala to sab bhala is what Akhilesh Yadav came out and said today. The party convener said that Congress's alliance with the Congress, there is absolutely no problem. Seat sharing talks are going on. Remember, there were questions that were raised over the alliance after Jayant Chaudhary left the India bloc, joined the NDA, following which Akhilesh Yadav didn't join Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra. We also saw that Akhilesh Yadav's party announced at least 3 lists of candidates ahead of the 2024 elections, even as the Congress kept claiming that negotiations are still on. Sources are now telling us that Samajwadi Party is yet to take back its candidate from Varanasi, and Uttar Pradesh Congress President Ajay Rai is going to be contesting from that seat instead. On the other hand, SP says that they shall be given Hathras in exchange.
आने वाले समय में उत्तर प्रदेश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का सफाया होगा। अंत भला तो सब भला।
क्या समझे? तो क्या माना जाए?
आप समझदार हो?
And now it's time for Vantage Shots, images that tell the story. In Spain, protesting farmers disrupt traffic in the capital Madrid. In Turkey, the country's first fifth-generation fighter jet takes to the skies. And in Japan, unusually warm weather is making cherry blossoms bloom in the month of February. Finally, we are also taking you back in history. On this day in 1972, US President Richard Nixon embarked on a historic 8-day visit to China. He was the first sitting US president to visit mainland China. His visit ended decades of Sino-US enmity. Leaving you on that note, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hello and welcome to the late night edition with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwa. Ladies and gentlemen, our top story, latest in the showdown over the Sandesh Khali violence. The National Human Rights Commission has now said that it has taken cognizance of the reports of human rights violations. That is the pitch that's coming in from the NHRC. The Commission has said that it will depute a team for a spot inquiry and has issued notices to both the Chief Secretary as well as the Director General of Police, seeking reports within 4 weeks. Now, meanwhile, the Vice Chairman of the Scheduled Caste Commission has arrived in Kolkata. He will go to Sandesh Khali tomorrow. That is the piece of break news that's coming in when it comes to the involvement of several central agencies when it comes to the situation in Sandesh Khali. As women in Sandesh Khali, those visuals on the right side of your screen, continue to fight for justice, continue to call out for justice, as one of the main accused, the kingpin of this entire saga, Shah Jahan Sheikh, is still on the run. I'm joined by my colleague Palki Sharma to get the latest when it comes to these developments which are coming in the Sandesh Khali saga. Palki, over to you.
Today, the National Commission of Scheduled Caste Vice Chairman is also arrived in Bengal, and he will also go tomorrow. The DG is there, which is very significant. He's there in that island. He is listening to his officers out there and also taking the local feel that what is the situation right now. That is very significant development. That's the DG of Bengal, Rajiv Kumar, is there. And a lot of commissions are coming in. So basically, it has now become in the war of words there, and now it has become a battleground for 2024 Lok Sabha polls.
Right. Thank you, Palki, for getting us the latest when it comes to the escalating war over Sandesh Khali. Remember, as Palki is pointing out, this will set the tone for the 2024 Lok Sabha battle, where the BJP only aims to expand its footprint in the state of West Bengal. Now, shifting focus to some more reactions which are coming in when it comes to the war of words over Sandesh Khali. Let's listen in.
Bengal DG Rajiv Kumar is just arrived. He's arriving in Sandesh Khali after the Sandesh Khali incident. This is the first time that Bengal DG Rajiv Kumar will be coming here. He will be directly going to the Thana. That's what we are coming to know from our sources. He might also talk to the people. What is the situation in Sandesh Khali ground zero? He himself has come today. DG Rajiv Kumar, Bengal DG, has arrived in Sandesh Khali, and this is the incident. Like from last week, Sandesh Khali is in news, and there has been local agitation. The confidence in local police is not there. So a lot of things are happening in Sandesh Khali, and there you will see that the DG Rajiv Kumar, he will be coming to Sandesh Khali, and here you see DG Rajiv Kumar, Bengal. He has come to Sandesh Khali to see on ground zero situation. What's the situation out there? That will be assessed by DG Rajiv Kumar, and he is arriving in Sandesh Khali. He will definitely have meeting with his officers out there. He'll try to find out that what's happening there in ground zero, as number of things have happened in Sandesh Khali. You see DG Rajiv Kumar, he has just arrived in Sandesh Khali.
Today, the newspapers reported certain very, very proactive comments, observations made by the Honorable High Court. I perfectly go by what the Honorable High Court said. I have already made it very clear that this criminal has to be arrested. I am waiting for the day when he is arrested.
देखिए, ये जो संदेश खाली है ना, बहुत दिन से, कई बरस से वहाँ पर ये एक्सप्लॉयटेशन, ये अत्याचार ये चल रहा है. उसमें लेफ्ट फ्रंट रीजन भी था. वहाँ पर तेभागा आंदोलन का हिस्ट्री भी वहीं पर ही है. अब देखिए, अभी वहाँ पर ये महिला पाचार, किडनी रैकेट पूरा वहाँ पर एक्टिव था. बहुत सारे एलिगेशंस थे, लेकिन ममता जी गवर्नमेंट में आने के बाद अभी धीरे धीरे वो सब प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जा रहा है.
हम लगातार आंदोलन करते रहेंगे. 26 तारीख से हमारा 3 दिन का धरना शुरू होगा. सुबह 11 बजे से शाम के 6 बजे तक धरना हम करेंगे. कलकत्ता में करेंगे. हम परमिशन के लिए दिए हैं. 3 दिन का धरना चलेगा. क्यों शेख शाहजहां को गिरफ्तार नहीं किया जा रहा है? शेख शाहजहां कहाँ छुपा हुआ है? इसका आंसर ममता बनर्जी को देना पड़ेगा।
कि संदेश खाली का विषय बहुत गंभीर हो रहा है। माननीय कलकत्ता हाईकोर्ट ने क्या टिप्पणी की है आपके सामने में। हाउ कैन वन मैन शाहजहां शेख कैन टेक द एंटायर स्टेट टू रैंसम, यह आपने सुना है। उसको गिरफ्तार क्यों नहीं किया जा रहा है। और यह भी टिप्पणी है कि उसके यहां पुलिस ईडी रेड करने गई थी, उसी के बाद समस्या शुरू हुई। लेकिन उसके बाद जो सारी जानकारी सामने आ रही है, ये किसी भी सभ्य समाज के लिए शर्मनाक ही नहीं, निकृष्टता की पराकाष्ठा है।
When the police over there in Sandeshkhali, when the women used to go and cry and complain to the police over there, your police, Mamta's police, used to say, go and do a mutual settlement with Sheikh Shahjahan and his gundas. How do you think that the women of, Sandeshkhali would have the guts to go and give an FIR? You all didn't do anything. TMC spokesperson doesn't even know how to respect a woman. That Kunal Ghosh is calling me Nilojjo Behaya, like I am shameless. This is what TMC is about. We are ashamed that we have a women chief minister, and this chief minister doesn't know how to respect a woman.
देखिए, संदेश खाली में बहुत ही अत्याचार हुआ है और ममता बनर्जी जी सब जानते हुए भी रोकने की प्रयास नहीं करती है। ममता जी के निर्ममता का वह बड़ा उदाहरण है। सब लोग जानते हैं कि वह शेख और उनके शागिर्द किस प्रकार से मां बहनों के साथ अत्याचार करता है। वहां पत्रकार लोग भी गए थे, आप लोग भी गए थे, देखे होंगे कि किस प्रकार से महिलाएं त्रस्त होकर जो 12-13 वर्षों से किस प्रकार से अत्याचार दुराचार का शिकार हो रही हैं।
The West Bengal police has not been able or has deliberately not arrested Sheikh Shahjahan till date. The investigations revealed murkier facts. The land grabs, and an FIR was not registered. But that was not all. The subsequent facts discovered and verified by the Women Commission of India have revealed that it was a rule of sexual molestation, rapes of countless Hindu girls and women.
And shifting focus down south, Environment Minister Bhupender Yadav met the families of those who were killed in the recent rampage of wild elephants in Wayanad. He tweeted, and I quote, "I assured them the government led by Prime Minister Modi stands with the families in their hour of grief. We will ensure full support to get their lives back on track." Also asked members of the Kerala BJP to extend all possible help to the people in the region to ensure a harmonious man-animal coexistence. That is the piece of break news that's coming in. That's the pitch that is coming from Union Environment Minister Bhupender Yadav, who met the families of those who died in those recent rampages and the attacks by wild elephants in Wayanad. I'm joined by my colleague Neetu Raghukumar on the broadcast. Neetu, over to you.
This is an issue that has been ongoing in Wayanad for quite some time. In the last 20 days itself, we saw 3 people who lost their lives in wild elephant attack. So when the Union Environment Minister is coming to Wayanad, the people also have great expectations because they want permanent solution, long-term solution to this problem. It's their life and livelihood that is being affected. So Union Minister Bhupender Yadav met with the families of the victims today, and tomorrow he will be meeting with the district administration is what we are understanding.
Right. Thank you, Neetu, for getting us that piece of breaking news. That's the latest development coming in the wake of those attacks by wild elephants, which has led to 3 deaths. And remember, a lot of protests have taken place in Wayanad because when it comes to this situation of these conflicts between humans and wild animals, given the fact that Wayanad is surrounded by so many nature reserves, no concrete solutions have been put forward by the local authorities. We will continue to track all the developments which are coming in. For now, another piece of breaking news. Now this is more trouble for Trinamool Congress, leader Mahua Moitra. Now what we are learning is that Mahua Moitra has moved the Delhi High Court seeking to preclude the Enforcement Directorate from taking any confidential or unverified information in relation to the investigation against her under the Foreign Exchange Management Act. That's the piece of breaking news that's coming in. After the cash query scandal, this is more legal trouble for Mahua Moitra, and now what we are learning is that the Trinamool Congress leader has moved the Delhi High Court seeking to preclude the Enforcement Directorate from leaking any confidential or unverified information in relation to the investigation against her against the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Remember, as per ED sources, she is being accused of holding bank accounts in foreign countries which she has not disclosed. And I'm joined by my colleague Ananya Bhatnagar, who's getting us this piece of breaking news. Ananya, give us the details.
Well, definitely, Mahua Moitra has now knocked the doors of the Delhi High Court, seeking unusual, relief that certain kind of information and disinformation, what she alleges, shall not be peddled, and the enforcement agency also shall not give out any kind of unverified information. Such reporting should be, blocked, is what Mahua Moitra is seeking. But how much of it does it clear before the High Court is something that we'll have to wait and watch for tomorrow when the matter is heard by a bench headed by Justice Subramaniam Prasad. Not only the Enforcement Directorate, but the Union of India too is a party to it. And we'll have to wait and watch as to how the Centre and the Enforcement Directorate would respond to these claims that Mahua Moitra has now made.
Right. Thank you, Ananya, for getting us that piece of breaking news. So Mahua Moitra knocking the door of the Delhi High Court to stop any potential leaks by the Enforcement Directorate. But shifting focus, the Union Cabinet just a short while back has approved 8% hike in MSP of sugarcane from 315 rupees per quintal to 340 rupees per quintal. Now, Union Minister Anurag Thakur has said that the price hike will ensure a fair and reasonable price to farmers. Thakur also said that the Modi government is committed to double farmers' income and that the approval will benefit more than 5 crore sugarcane farmers as well as their families. Listen in.
आज का पहला निर्णय भी जो सीसीए से संबंधित है वो गन्ना सीज़न, जो आगामी गन्ना सीज़न है उसके लिए जो मूल्य तय करने का निर्णय किया गया है। 1 अक्टूबर 2024 से लेकर 30 सितंबर 2025 की अवधि में चीनी मिलों द्वारा किसानों को गन्ने का उचित और लाभकारी मूल्य यानी कि एफआरपी निर्धारित किया गया है। जैसा आप जानते हैं, सीएसीपी, कृषि लागत और मूल्य आयोग, ये इनके द्वारा गन्ने की उत्पादन लागत, अन्य बाय प्रोडक्ट्स जैसे कि गुड़, गन्ने की खोई इत्यादि की बिक्री से प्राप्त होने वाली राशि और उसमें प्रॉफिट जोड़ के कितना उसका दाम तय होना चाहिए वो तय करती है। इन सब फैक्टर्स को ध्यान में रखते हैं और वर्ष 2024-25 के लिए 340 रुपये प्रति क्विंटल मूल्य निर्धारित किए जाने का निर्णय किया गया है। पिछले वर्ष यानी कि 2023-24 में एफआरपी जो था, जो इसकी उचित मूल्य था, वो पिछले साल 315 रुपये था, जो बढ़कर इस साल 340 रुपये प्रति क्विंटल कर दिया गया है। ये 340 रुपये प्रति क्विंटल का मूल्य चीनी की लगभग 10.25% रिकवरी के रेट के लिए मिलेगा और प्रति 0.1% एक्स्ट्रा रिकवरी पर 3 रुपये 32 पैसे प्रति क्विंटल का अतिरिक्त प्रीमियम मिलेगा। कैसे मोदी सरकार की गारंटी, मोदी की गारंटी जो है किसानों की आमदन को दोगुना करने के लिए लगातार इसके लिए हम प्रतिबद्ध भी हैं और सारे कदम उस दिशा में उठाए गए हैं।
Right, and I'm joined by Pallavi Ghosh on the broadcast when it comes to this big announcement coming in from the union government. So Pallavi, how does this benefit? Of course, the MSP for sugarcane farmers has been increased by 8%. It is a boost for the sugarcane farmers, but this won't dent the huge pitch for an MSP law that is coming in from several farmer groups who continue to wage war against the government and even disrupting life in the national capital.
Absolutely, Ayushman. The FRP, or the fair and the remunerative price, as it's called, for sugarcane has been increased. As you pointed out, by 8%, which means roughly around 5 crore farmers are going to benefit. And this is one of the highest in the world as far as the sugarcane farmers are concerned. But what the protesting farmers are asking for is an MSP, and that is on those products which are kind of very unique, or I would say very important as far as Punjab and Haryana is concerned, but more specifically in Punjab, and that is, for example, in wheat and grain and so on. So politically speaking, a very strong message going in from the central government on 2 counts. One is that the farmers' cause, and this is exactly what the minister was also talking about, that as far as this government is concerned, they have, unlike the previous governments, always kept the premium and the concerns of the farmers on priority and one of the highest in the world. And second, I think in terms of Lok Sabha elections also, this is an important step, because Western Uttar Pradesh, which is considered to be a sugarcane belt, and on which RLD, for example, has been questioned for its affiliation with the NDA, this in fact placates and counters those voices. Very clear message for the cabinet decision is that the farmers matter and they are the crux or pillar of this government.
And right, and before I let you go, Pallavi, this also kind of strengthens the bond between the BJP and the RLD when it comes to the fight in Uttar Pradesh.
If you remember, Ayushman, the day RLD decided to become part of the NDA, both the SP but more particular Congress party started taking pot shots at Jayant Chaudhary, saying that you consider yourself a Kisan-friendly party, but look what's happening on the border. That could have made the situation a little delicate, and I think the BJP has also taken care of that, as of course its own political concerns and its messaging, and thereby this decision of increasing the FRP by 8% is going to be very, very significant and of course helpful to the RLD.
Right. Thank you, Pallavi, for getting us the latest. So a huge pitch coming in from the union government when it comes to farmer welfare. But at the same time, it's the protesting farmers who are demanding an MSP law. And this won't dampen their kind of fight against the central government while they demand an MSP law, especially guaranteed prices for wheat and paddy. But shifting focus, ladies and gentlemen, on the road to the Lok Sabha fight, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's Nyaya Yatra has gone viral, but for all the wrong reasons. Rahul Gandhi grilled a journalist asking him who is his Malik, saying the journalist who simply questioned Rahul Gandhi works for an Arabpati and not an OBC or Dalit. Rahul further said that Amitabh Bachchan and Aishwarya Rai and Prime Minister Modi attended the consecration ceremony of the Ram Mandir, but OBCs and Dalits were not invited, something that is clearly not true. He also mocked Amitabh Bachchan and Aishwarya Rai, saying that their dance or nach is used to distract the people of India from the real issues. He also said that he saw drunkards on the streets of Varanasi, adding that it is a sign of the state's future. Now, the Congress MP also accused the youth of Uttar Pradesh for being directionless. He further stated that in Varanasi, he saw some youths who were inebriated and lying on the streets. This, of course, has not gone down well with the BJP, which has accused Rahul Gandhi of being unhinged.
आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? क्या नाम है? नाम बताओ, नाम बताओ। ओए मारो मत यार, मारो मत उसको, मारना नहीं है, मारना नहीं है। नाम बताओ उसका। वो ओबीसी है? नहीं। वो दलित है? नहीं। वो आदिवासी है? नहीं। अरबपति है वो। आपने राम मंदिर का फंक्शन देखा? देखा? उसमें आपने एक ओबीसी चेहरा देखा, एक दलित चेहरा देखा, एक आदिवासी चेहरा देखा? नहीं, उसमें एक नहीं था। उसमें अमिताभ बच्चन थे, ऐश्वर्या राय थी, नरेंद्र मोदी थे। 73% का एक व्यक्ति नहीं था उसमें। कभी कहेंगे उधर देखो भैया अमिताभ बच्चन नाच रहा है, वो देखो भैया उसके साथ ऐश्वर्या राय नाच रही है। आप लोग इधर उधर देखोगे, मजदूरों की बात नहीं होगी, किसानों की बात नहीं होगी। वाराणसी में देखा मैंने, रात को बाजा बज रहा है, ठहर जा, बाजा बज रहा है, वहां पे शराब पिए सड़क पे लेटते हुए बाजा बज रहा है। यूपी का भविष्य रात को शराब पिए नाच रहा है, डांस कर रहा है नशे में।
ये बहुत पीड़ादायक है। राहुल गांधी कब सीखेंगे? कैसे कह दिया कि सारे यूपी के युवा जो हैं वो शराब पी के डाउन रहते हैं? ये कौन सी भाषा है राहुल गांधी की? चंदौली में कह दिया कि राम मंदिर के उद्घाटन में कोई गरीब नहीं था, हजारों की संख्या में देश के संत बैठे हुए थे। क्या मतलब है इसका? क्या वो सिर्फ लोगों को इंसल्ट करने के लिए, अपमानित करने के लिए बैठे हुए हैं? ये बहुत पीड़ादायक है, मैं इसकी पूरी भर्त्सना करता हूं।
Meanwhile, the Samajwadi Party and the Congress seat-sharing deal for Uttar Pradesh has finally been sealed. Now, soon after SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav announced that an alliance with the Congress Party was happening, the SP has now conceded as many as 17 seats to the Congress Party. This is also coming at an opportune time for the Congress, given that the Yatra is currently in Uttar Pradesh and has been facing many alliance setbacks since it started. Also, the battle of optics when it comes to Rahul Gandhi's statements on the Yatra, which has unleashed the ire of the BJP against the Congress MP.
भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस यहां पर उत्तर प्रदेश में 17 सीटों पर चुनाव लड़ेगी और इस गठबंधन के तहत अन्य जो बची हुई 63 सीटें हैं, इन पर इंडिया गठबंधन के जो भी उम्मीदवार समाजवादी पार्टी के, अन्य दलों के भी जो कि इसमें समावित होकर इस गठबंधन में शामिल होंगे, उनका हम सब में डटकर मुकाबला करेंगे और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को शिकस्त देंगे।
उत्तर प्रदेश में 80 लोकसभा की सीट है और ये शुरू से ही समाजवादी पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष श्री अखिलेश यादव जी ने बार बार कहा कि उत्तर प्रदेश से ही केंद्र में भाजपा की सरकार 2014 में आई थी और उत्तर प्रदेश से ही 2024 में भाजपा सत्ता के बाहर जाएगी।
And that's all we have to pack in on the show. But before we leave, in a feat of bravery by our armed forces, ladies and gentlemen, a sudden snowfall in East Sikkim stranded around 500 tourists who were rescued by the Trishakti Corps of the Indian Army. Troops braving sub-zero temperatures rushed to rescue those stranded tourists. Those visuals on your screen, I'll leave you with that. Once again, our armed forces coming to the rescue of the Aam Aadmi. Those visuals on your screen are the visuals of the Trishakti Corps who braved sub-zero temperatures and after sudden snowfall in East Sikkim helped rescue 500 stranded tourists.
तो शीट शेयरिंग को लेकर के विवाद छिड़ा हुआ है।
कोई विवाद नहीं है, आपके सामने सब चीजें साफ हो जाएंगी बहुत जल्दी।
देखिए, वो बन जाए और चाहे ना बने, उससे भाजपा की सेहत पे कोई असर नहीं पड़ता है। लेकिन यह जो मेरे समझ में आ रहा है कि कांग्रेस के सरदार श्री राहुल गांधी जी चाहते हैं सपा समाप्तवादी पार्टी बने, और अगर सपा वालों को ये पता है कि उनकी पार्टी समाप्त हो रही है तो अखिलेश यादव जी भी ये चाहते हैं कि कांग्रेस मुक्त भी बने यूपी। तो दोनों एक दूसरे की मदद करने की सामर्थ्य नहीं रखते। दोनों दलों को मालूम है उनके प्रत्याशियों को इस बार जमानत बचाना मुश्किल हो जाएगा। फिर भी अगर वो गठबंधन करके लड़ते हैं, तो अलग अलग लड़ते हैं, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी उनको धूल चटाएगी, कमल का फूल खिलाएगी और 80 की 80 सीटें जीत करके हम माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी को फिर एक बार देश के प्रधानमंत्री के पद की शपथ लेते हुए देखेंगे।
Sharon, my colleague, now joining us, getting us more details. Sharon, what's the latest that you've gathered from your sources within the Congress party? Because there was a lot of back and forth as far as how many seats they want, how many seats the Samajwadi party is willing to offer. We're given to understand anywhere between 16 to 18 is what the final decision is going to be on?
Well, that is right, Poonam. 16 to 18 is something that has in fact been decided by the Samajwadi Party and Congress. And Samajwadi Party is willing to give around 17 seats, is what the sources have been suggesting. Now, the latest that we are getting to know is that 5 p.m. today, in all likelihood, the final list will be released by the Samajwadi Party and Congress. There's a press conference that has been called by the Congress and Samajwadi Party, a joint press conference, where the final list of will in fact be released, is what the sources saying. But you're right that there were in fact a lot of back and forth when it comes to a number of seats, especially when it comes to Varanasi. There was a candidate that was already announced by the Samajwadi Party. Now the sources, Congress sources have been suggesting is that that particular candidate will be taken back by the Samajwadi Party, and Ajay Rai, the Congress Uttar Pradesh president, will in fact be fielded from there. He has always contested from that particular seat. On the other side, Hathras is something that will be given back to Samajwadi Party. Last time Congress contested from here in exchange of Sitapur. So this time Congress in all likelihood will be contesting from Sitapur. Apart from that, Samajwadi Party in Bulandshahr or Mathura, it will be Samajwadi Party that will be contesting. So what really Congress Party has conveyed to the Samajwadi Party is that the seat sharing should be on the basis of caste equation on ground and previous vote share of both the parties. Accordingly, the winnability quotient should be the priority, and accordingly, that is how the seat sharing should be done. So, like Akhilesh Yadav said, Ant Bhala to Sab Bhala, it looks like at 5 p.m. Final list will be released by Samajwadi Party and Congress.
What happens to the seat of Varanasi then, Sharon? Because that's where the conflict is as well. The UP Congress chief wants it for himself. The Samajwadi Party has already declared it. Will they backtrack on that?
Well, that is what the sources have been saying, that there was in fact pressure that was put in by Congress Party on Samajwadi Party over their announcement of the Varanasi candidate. It has in fact been told to Samajwadi Party that they need to take back this particular candidate, because Ajay Rai, who has always been contesting from that particular seat, will be willing to continue in that contesting from that particular seat. So of course, all these have in fact been conveyed by the Congress Party, and it seems a consensus.